Hi, I'm Ben,
And I'm Lucas.
and we are two aspiring filmmakers making unnecessary commentary on famous movies.
Each week, we will randomly select a film to analyze, discuss, and review.
We will select the film at the end of each podcast, so you will have ample time to watch the movie before the next episode.
We are slightly qualified film students.
Let's get into our top 100 films
Yeah.
of all time.
I'm-
We are moving into 80 to 71 today. And Ben, why don't you start it off? What is your 80th all-time favorite movie?
We got an A24 film called Mid-90s. It's Jonah Hill's directorial debut. Nice little coming-of-age story with a great soundtrack, great 4:3 aspect ratio, looks great. Really great performances in this one, with Sonny Silich as the main character. Yeah, this one, I don't know. This is just kind of like a feel-good movie, even though there's some sadder moments, but it's just a nice coming-of-age story. Yeah, really good. Hopefully Jonah Hill makes more movies.
More movies. It was a bit earlier in my list, but it was on here in my top 100. My 80th favorite film of all time is last year's Best Picture winner, Nomadland, from Chloe Zhao, Frances McDormand. The only movie from 2020 to hit the top 100. I love this movie. I watched it a little earlier than it was before it was released, before it got all the Oscar hype, and I was like, this movie, it's meaning something. It's like, it's just, it grabs you by the heart, and it's like, hey, look at my natural light. Look at all this natural light and location selection. And I was like, yes, I see you. And then it got a bunch of Oscar hype, and I was very proud of this movie. Such an indie film, but it deserved that Best Picture in my opinion. Yeah. Okay, 79.
79.
What is it, Ben?
This is a film that we literally reviewed like 2 weeks ago, Boyhood.
Nice.
I won't get too far into it because we literally just did like an hour-long podcast about it. But it was really good. It surprised me. Yeah, go check out our review if you want to hear my full thoughts on it.
Boyhood. Like to see it. Okay, my 79th favorite film. A classic. If there is a definition for a classic, it is this movie. It is The Lion King. Of course, the classic animated film. Not
Nice.
the remake. God, this film is my childhood. This is my childhood. I watched this movie on repeat for many, many years because my grandma had it on VHS. And I would always watch it. She actually, funny enough, she had this movie and Babe. And those were the two movies that I would watch constantly. But this one stuck with me a bit more than Babe. It's The Lion King. I don't even have to go into detail. It's The Lion King. I love it. It's one of the greatest animated films out there. Tugs at all the heartstrings. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Number 78, we got the late great Robin Williams in Dead Poets Society. This movie is so good. I wish that Robin Williams was my teacher. I don't know. This film is very moving to me. I love the symbolism. And overall, it's just a great watch. If you like Robin Williams, you'll love this movie. If you want to go relive his beautiful acting skills. And I love the screenplay in this movie too. It's just
also
overall...
young Ethan Hawke.
Yeah, exactly. Great movie. Go watch it if you haven't already. Dead Poet Society.
That's a great one. Okay, my 78th favorite film. We talked about it a few times in this podcast. It is American Beauty.
Yeah.
I just watched this film for the first time. Maybe it's been like 2 months now. But it weirded me out a little. I will admit, it was a very awkward viewing experience. But I cannot deny the pure beauty, no pun intended, of this film. It won Best Picture, won Best Cinematography, won Best Actor, won a lot of awards, won Best Screenplay, I think, too. It's a really well-written film. It is truly beautiful, and not just the aspect of the, like, creepy dad pedophilia vibes, but more so in the actual, like, coming-of-age story with his daughter and her kind of finding herself in this kind of messed up family relationship she has with her father and her mother. And it's really just a honest, depressing portrayal of, like, family life with really, really haunting ending. But yeah, it affected me. I really enjoyed it. 78.
Yeah, okay. 77, we got the first movie we ever reviewed, Parasite.
Hey.
I love this movie. It's really awesome. Definitely deserved Best Picture. Well, I guess technically I have other movies from that year rated higher. But I still think it deserved Best Picture. Like, honestly, it's just a very important moment that I think as moviegoers we had to have a foreign film win Best Picture for a wider audience to truly appreciate all the cinematic beauty that is in other parts of the world that don't speak English. Like, it's incredible. There's just, like, so many movies.
There's so many. Yeah.
And they're all so good. So, if this
Well,
was
they're
an
not all,
introduction,
but yeah.
they're not all so good, but, like, there are some really great movies out there.
Yeah, it's
So-
just like the Hollywood film business. It's the same
Exactly.
in every country.
So,
Yeah.
I think that this movie inspired a lot of people to get out there and watch more foreign films. And also, it's just a kick-ass fucking drama thriller. It's really good. Everyone's seen it, but if you haven't, watch it. Parasite is really awesome. Probably a little too low, but I don't know. I really love a lot of the movies above it too, so yeah.
Yeah. Okay, my 77th favorite film of all time, Coen Brothers, The Big Lebowski. I know this is much, much, much higher on Ben's list.
Yeah.
But I love this movie. One of my favorite late night comedies out there. I don't even know if you can call this a late night comedy. It is a late night comedy, but it's a lot deeper than most late night comedies. It is a Coen brother masterpiece. Got Jeff Bridges and Mr. Steve Buscemi and John Goodman giving it their absolute all.
Well,
And
it's such a good cast.
It's just it is probably one of the films that has made me laugh the hardest in my entire life of watching movies. This film never fails.
And it's also like
to make
just
me
so
laugh.
quotable. One of the most quotable.
Yeah, definitely in my top 100. That is number 77.
Nice. My number 76, kind of like The Big Lebowski. It's a lot higher for Lucas, but mine is Birdman or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance, coming in 76. This movie, I should probably rewatch it. I watched it like 2.5 years ago, and I really loved it. Like, the cinematography is obviously really cool, but like that can't be the only thing that you appreciate when you watch this movie, because I mean, the performances are great, screenplay is amazing, and the story in general is just awesome. So if you go into this movie, don't go into it just wanting to watch a cool cinematic gimmick. Go into it wanting
Go watch
to know the
1917
story.
if you're gonna do that.
Yeah, exactly. This movie is way, way more than just a technical gimmick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Okay, my 76 is Lady Bird, A24, Saoirse Ronan, Greta Gerwig's directorial debut. Truly wholesome film. Very funny, interesting look at the mother-daughter relationship. Fantastic cast, Saoirse Ronan, Beanie Feldstein, Timothy Chalamet, and my boy Lucas Hedges, all coming together in a top-notch coming-of-age film. And, I love Greta Gerwig. I think she is a phenomenal actress, but obviously has proven herself as also a phenomenal screenwriter and director. And yeah, Lady Bird is up there as one of my favorite A24 films, and definitely in my top 100. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, we are on to 75. We got Goodfellas, a Scorsese classic. This movie is hilarious.
I bought that on
This movie-
DVD today.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
Got some hilarious scenes. I still think Joe Pesci, his scene where he's asking Ray Liotta, "Oh, funny how? Funny like I'm a clown?" That scene is just one of the funniest scenes in cinema history to me. I absolutely love it. I mean, if you're a fan of Scorsese, you've definitely seen this movie, but
Yeah.
like, it's one of those movies that defines a director's career. And I think that's, Goodfellas. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows it's one of the crown jewels of Scorsese's filmmaking. And it's just a masterpiece. Go check it out. Go watch Goodfellas again. Rewatch it. It's rewatchable. It's hilarious.
It is. Okay, my 75th favorite film of all time. A little bit more of an unknown film. It's a foreign film called Amour from France, directed by Mr. Michael Haneke, but is not his usual extremely disturbing film. It's actually a very beautifully depressing, I may add, but truly beautiful, I guess, love story. The film is about an old man caring for his elderly wife as she's basically dying of a stroke that she has had and basically brain failure. And yeah, it's a really depressing movie that is probably the definition of realism in film. I think this film really captures what realism is, the idea of long wide shots and really just showing just acting, and basically this entire film is set in the house. But it's a great film, made me cry, broke my heart, super depressing, crazy ending. And I highly suggest this to anyone who just wants to watch like a good sad movie.
Totally. Okay. 74. Marriage Story.
Nice.
Marriage Story hits different. It's really sad. Go listen to our review of it.
Yep.
If you want to hear my full thoughts. But I love
Marriage
this
Story.
movie.
Yeah. Great movie. My 74th favorite film of all time. Baz Luhrmann, Moulin Rouge. This is, I guess, another film that sort of defines my childhood. It is...
That's so messed up.
I mean...
Childhood defining movies.
It is, okay, I'm being honest.
With
It is
the prostitute.
one of the film that defines my childhood. Is one of my parents' favorite films of all time, so they obviously showed it to me at a very young age. And I loved it. And look, I was too young to understand the whole prostitute aspect of this film. I just thought it was like a really cool film with awesome songs, like David Bowie and Elton John. And, it's Ewan McGregor. How can I not like it? It's a really stylistic film. It's Baz Luhrmann, obviously, but it's probably one of the only Baz Luhrmann films I genuinely love the style of. It's perfect for his film, and that's because it is original content of Baz Luhrmann. He's done other films like Romeo plus Juliet and The Great Gatsby, which don't work as well for me because he's just taking content that's already been made and then putting his style onto it. Where Moulin Rouge reflects his style because he also wrote it, so the story itself just fits his style so perfectly. I love this film. It has a lot of nostalgia going for it for me. 74.
Alright. 73, we got my boy Yorgos. Not the first time you'll see him on this list. But
Ooh.
this time it's The Lobster. Which
I love
really
The Lobster.
Yeah.
But
The
I
Lobster
know
is
what your
awesome.
other one is.
Well, now, like, as of today, there's 3 on this list. But not on this version. This is like 2 weeks or 3 weeks old or something. But The Lobster, what can I say? It's quirky, slightly unsettling. It's like the least disturbing of his films. I could say that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I honestly find
like,
I found The Lobster way more disturbing than Killing of a Sacred Deer.
I mean, yeah. Like, but now
I
that
was
I've
just
seen
laughing the whole time.
Yeah.
Killing of a Sacred Deer had me laughing.
I mean, The Lobster is just Yorgos' deadpan delivery. It's not gonna work for everyone, but it works for me. And if you can appreciate it, then this movie is like. This movie also just has like such a funny concept. It's not a very funny movie in general, but
It's a dark comedy. It's a really great dark comedy, honestly.
it's a great movie. Like even romance wise.
It is. It's a
yeah.
romance film. It's a dark comedy romance film that
Yeah.
a lot of people. I know a lot of people who hate this movie.
I
but
love
that's
it.
okay.
I love The Lobster.
You gotta. I love The Lobster. And I don't know. I love the originality of it. It's just so weird.
Colin Farrell is great.
Gotta love Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
Yeah. My 73rd favorite film of all time is Pan's Labyrinth. Guillermo del Toro's, I guess, kind of first big hit film. Yeah. I mean, it's Pan's Labyrinth. Most people have seen this film. Actually, I don't know if Ben's seen this film. Have you seen Pan's Labyrinth?
I have not seen Pan's Labyrinth.
Ben hasn't seen Pan's Labyrinth. Ben, you should watch Pan's Labyrinth. It's
on the wheel, so I'll wait.
It is, yeah. It is the definition of an adult fairy tale. I mean, it's like a fairy tale, but, you know, there is a lot of swearing and a lot of blood. But also really cool in the prosthetics, the monsters. It's like just this like fantasy come to life. It's like the film that adults watch when they want to bring back the magic of their childhood, but also don't want to watch a children's film. It's kind of like that. I really love this film. Guillermo del Toro, I think, should have won Best Picture for this one. I know he got it for The Shape of Water, but this is his work of art right here. Yeah, great film.
Nice. Okay, 72. We have Al Pacino in Dog Day Afternoon. This is one of the best written films of all time, in my opinion. I mean, Sidney Lumet, in general, widely regarded as one of the best screenwriters of all time, made a little film called 12 Angry Men. You might have heard of it. But, I mean, like, I haven't seen that movie, and I know that it's probably very good. But, like, imagine a dialogue-driven 12 Angry Men, except it's all taking place in a bank heist gone so wrong. And Al Pacino is just sitting in this bank with John Cazale and like six hostages, completely surrounded by like 200 cops for a day. And it all takes place in that bank. And it's just them talking. And that's this movie. And it's wildly entertaining. And it's hilarious. And it's tense. And it's really well written. Go watch Dog Day Afternoon. It's really good.
I'm gonna watch that movie. That's been on my watch list for a while. Yeah. My 72nd, we're at 72. 72, my 72nd favorite film of all time, The Dark Knight Rises. This is the finale of the Dark Knight trilogy.
Right.
Brings it all to a close.
The one with
Christopher
Bane?
Nolan's. Yeah, this is the
that-
one with Bane and Catwoman.
Yeah.
This is Sir Tom Hardy playing Bane. Dark Knight Rises. Why do I have it on my top 100 list? Well, it is the conclusion of a truly astounding, revolutionary superhero trilogy. Really, there is no other superhero films that have been done to date like Nolan did with the Dark Knight trilogy. he brought a whole new light to what superhero
is Batman
films can be.
Begins on the list?
On my top 100? No.
Okay.
It's in my top 300, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
He brought to light, he brought to light what superhero films could be and how they could still, even though they're superheroes and comic books, they could still be rooted in reality and feel somewhat real in its craziness. The changing aspect ratios is just so freaking awesome. Gotta love it. And dude, that ending, I know you haven't seen this, but the ending of this movie will never fail to not make me cry. I mean, how can you not cry at Michael Caine crying? If Michael Caine is crying, I am crying. So there you go. Dark Knight Rises, 72.
Okay. 71, our last entry in this part. All the old film fans better get mad. The Godfather. 71.
Oh, 71.
Okay, how much higher is it?
It's
for
okay,
you?
everyone. I have it. Let me look.
Well, don't spoil
It's
it. but,
higher.
like,
It's definitely higher. It's not like extremely high, but it's a solid amount higher.
I don't know. The Godfather's amazing. It really is. But there's just a lot of movies that I'd rather watch. That's how I'll put it. I'll leave it at that. The Godfather, masterpiece. But there's just a lot of movies that I'd rather sit down and watch. I could even watch 2 movies in the time it would take me to watch The Godfather.
Yeah.
But, I mean, obviously, I'm not saying that... Like, you gotta remember, like, these are the best 100 films in my eyes, and the margins separating them are not that big. So, The Godfather being this low isn't me putting disrespect on it. I just...
Yeah.
Straight up, it's just not quite as enjoyable to me as a lot of the other films on here. So, what percent is 70? So, yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, my 71, Ben already talked about it. Boyhood, we've talked about this in a long podcast just the other day. Love Boyhood. I moved it down a bit after rewatch, but still in the top 100. It's here. It's going to stay for a while. That is a conclusion to our next 10 entries of our top 100. We're getting there.
Yeah.
Moving into the 60s next week. Very exciting. So
And the Tree of Life.
Yeah, the Tree of Life. I'm hyped to watch that.
Maybe that will be on there. Also,
Yeah,
if you guys
who
want to
knows?
keep track with the updated top 100s, you can follow us on Letterboxd. Maybe we could link
Yeah.
that in a SQFS post. Because, like, this has changed drastically from when this list was screenshotted. Because they're ever-changing. I'm watched so many films, and then I, like, think about them, and then I realize, okay, maybe I like this one more than this one. So it's ever-changing.
Ever-changing. Ben's Letterboxd account is Awesome Indie Guy. Mine is Lucas NN. Very simple. Follow us. Check out our list. We have a lot of lists and we have a lot of reviews that we write.
Yeah.
If you want to stay updated. But thank you for listening to this week's podcast of 7. We're coming at you next week with both of our first viewing of The Tree of Life. Very excited. Thank you for listening to Slightly Qualified Film Students.
Make sure to tune in next week for a new film discussion and review.
Our theme song is Slightly Sexy by Thompson Springs.
Make sure to subscribe and leave us a like.
Send us feedback and comments as well as your thoughts on the film.
Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at S_Q_F_S.
If you would like to send us a question or a comment for next week's episode, you can email us at sqfilmstudents@gmail.com.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you all next week.
Bye.